My guests today, Scott Benson and Craig Yace. What's up, fellas?
How's it going, man?
How you doing?
It is going good. So first of all, I got to apologize to our audience. I have been inundated. I've been hammered, emails, messages. I had a pigeon delivery a message. It came to me all forms. People were upset because we went dark for, was it 2 weeks or 1 week? We went dark. And what I want our audience to know is, like, sometimes when you have a show like ours that's growing, that you have to do upgrades to the studio and to the broadcast and everything. So that sometimes that takes time. So with that being said, I'm happy to announce that Craig has a new camera.
Yay.
And so that's why we were dark for 2 weeks, because Craig had to get his new camera installed. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, anyways, welcome back. We apologize to our viewers that missed us, but we're here. We're not going anywhere. And happy to talk all things real estate mortgages, and specifically, we love Corona, California. So, Craig, what is going on in Corona, California?
Well, Corona's still screaming just like before. I didn't look at how many homes are on the market, but last time I looked, we were still right around that, 190, 200 mark, and a couple hundred in escrow, and just about 140 or so, 180, I can't remember, on the market. So we've really got just like 2 months worth of inventory or less.
Wow.
So it's a crazy market. It's a great market if you're looking to buy. I know a lot of people are concerned about interest rates, but
Right.
there are ways to kind of work things and make sure that your payments are still good. And so I wouldn't let that keep you out of the deal, because I mean, come on, there are so many really nice looking homes right now. And if you're in the market and you're looking and you have auto searches set up and all these tools that we have, you're going to find the right home at the right time and be able to pounce on it.
Beautifully said.
Well, and you know those auto searches are really super helpful too, because if you've got something really specific that you're looking for, to be able to get that early indication. I know
Yeah.
that you do a lot of work with. I know you play some Facebook ads for some specific kind of segments where you've had some success for people, but then your clients can also reach out and have you set up the specific parameters that they're looking for, so they get that auto notification. So they can be one of the early ones in to see the property, and if they go in pre-qualified, you can get it before the competition on the buy side starts to come into that property. That's a big plus that you can provide to people.
That's right.
Oh, and before I forget, my audience is going to be pissed. Our audience, excuse me, not my audience. Our audience is going to be pissed if we don't do our favorite segment. So,
Which is,
one of us was a town. Can't talk today. A town drunk.
wow.
One of us studied the martial arts, Teikukmosuru.
Oh,
And lastly, one of us played in a marching band as well as the football team at the same time.
wow. How do you
So-
do that?
That's a cliffhanger. And Craig, you get the props for today. Somehow you made your eyes match our logo perfectly. And so high five on really bringing you tied it all together, man. You really brought it today.
And blue shirt day. And blue shirt day.
Right? We didn't even plan this.
Now, there we go.
Wait, real quick, I'm going to try and bring my screen up so I don't keep looking straight down. All right.
Yeah,
Let's make sure
do
it doesn't
that.
get into the camera. Okay. So I have a quick question. You said that you've been hammered for the last 2 weeks. Are you the town drunk, or are you the?
Oh, I see where you're going. I mean, that could just be, but that could be my norm.
You
I might could just be functional that way, right?
kind of threw me off there.
Well, that's what we do, Craig. So, so tell us about a fabulous neighborhood in Corona we need to know about.
Oh, fabulous neighborhood. Okay. So Corona, there's Corona proper. And when I say that, I mean like Corona city limits.
Yeah.
Outside the city limits is unincorporated Corona. But it's still got a Corona zip code, and you just write Corona on the address. Although one section they're trying to turn into, well, they have turned it into Temescal Valley, but it's still got a Corona address. And when I search, I find Corona addresses. All that to say, the retreat was built as a luxury neighborhood. It was a golf course community. Now that golf course is gone, and nobody really knows for sure what they're going to do with that land. A couple of things have been thrown out there, but man, the retreat is one of the nicest neighborhoods around. It's a guard gated community, and and the HOA dues are not super high. So to have a guard shack, to sounds bougie, doesn't it? To have a guard shack
That's how I roll.
and that kind of safety, and then it's up in the hills, so you've got views on many of the homes. Just behind the retreat, there are hills with, they're just hills. I mean, they're high hills, but they're hills with snow, and it's just, I mean, it's beautiful. It's relaxing. It's serene. The neighbors are pretty good, and the price point is not super unaffordable. I mean, you can get in for 1.2 to 2.2 million dollars.
Oh, that's great for that area.
Oh yeah.
Am I in the right area? Is this at the retreat of by Wedgwood? Was that the golf course that shut down, or is that still going?
That is the golf course that shut down. Is that the retreat? Yeah.
Yeah, the Champions Club at the retreat.
Yep. So the Champions Club's still up. They do weddings there. Again, the scenery is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks really pretty there.
Can't even drop in. So that's where the gate starts. I like to take the little guy and drop him in the neighborhood. But then you know where the guard gate is because there it is. See, right in the tunnel.
Oh gosh, that's underneath the freeway. That's crazy. Oh no.
Is that what that is?
Wow, that's weird. Wait a minute. Bedford Canyon.
Where am I at?
Part of the golf course, but that doesn't make sense.
Let's pull back out.
Yeah.
Scrolling up. And there's Scott's favorite hangout. Guys, you come to on any Friday afternoon, you'll see Scott at Club 80s Bar and Grill.
That's it. That's my spot.
It's Duran Friday.
Hey, really, one more thing about the retreat, really cool part about it is, they've got a community pool, and you can get like a seasonal pass. I mean, obviously it's not open right now because it's freezing cold, but you can get a seasonal pass. So you pay a little extra money on your HOA dues, and it's a lot like being at a resort because you will, you could be poolside and order drinks, and they just put it on your HOA bill.
Oh, that's great.
Super cool.
Yeah, you had one of us that drinks. Not going to say who. Craig, we want to talk about different ways to qualify income for a loan. Okay. So everybody thinks, okay, what your W-2, your check stubs, your 9 to 5. Of course, that's one way to do it. An alternative way to do that is to use what's called asset depletion. And what that means is you have an account. It could be a savings account, retirement account, a stock fund account. As long as that account can be liquidated, then we can use it. And then depending on the lender, they go as low as 60 months as what you divide it by. So for example, you have $1 million in some account. They're going to divide that by 60. I think that comes out to like $16,000 a month. Scott, is that right?
16,667. Yep.
Man, I'm doing math like Scott now. How does
There
that
you
work?
go.
And maybe had this conversation before, but that's how you would determine their income side of the debt to income on a loan. Now, what's nice about that is that can be combined. So let's say somebody did have a W-2 income, but their DTI was over 50%, maybe they're at 55, 56, and we need additional income. Now we can bring that asset depletion component in, combine the two, and get the person qualified because their income is now increased.
And one of the things, Craig, we were talking about with that is, if you've got a client that has a bunch of rental properties, it's great to have rental properties, right? And if you didn't do those rental properties on a DSCR, they show up on your mortgage statement, and then you have to take those payments off of your income. And they're only accounting for 75% of the rental income against those payments. So if you have somebody that starts stacking up a bunch of properties, their DTI ratios can sometimes look a little bit off versus the real cash flow that they're bringing in on the property. A lot of times, though, those same clients have a nice chunk of assets set aside because they've been building it up with their real estate portfolios, and hopefully some of it's liquid. Then we can use that to help offset some of the downside associated with that 25% reduction in income on the rental property and get them qualified on a new loan. So it can be a really useful product or a useful way to qualify people that might otherwise have difficulty.
Yeah, this was around, I heard about it. In fact, went to a training on it back in like 2010 or 2011. It was, it was a way to free up some money if you had money in investments, right? Or at least borrow against those investments.
Yeah. So, say it again.
No, the only thing that you're right, Craig, it's been around for a while. One of the things that is a little bit newer for us is some of the lenders in the past would only take that plus W-2 income. Some of them only wanted to take that component in terms of determining what the income looks like. And now we have lenders that will take the W-2 income, they'll take the asset depletion, they'll take business income, they'll take bank statements from business income, but take a variety of those things and put them all together to come up with what that income package looks like. Now, the number of lenders that will take all of those elements is substantially smaller than the ones that will take asset depletion alone. But that's part of what we do. We find the right lender that we can match up based upon the scenario.
Yeah. So another strategy or source of income we can use is the bank statements that Scott alluded to. So let's talk about that for a minute. So you have your personal bank statements or you have your business bank statements. And this is specifically for somebody that is legitimately self-employed. So we have to establish that. We're going to look at
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So we look at when did your self-employment, did you have a formation? Do you have a business license? We have to, or even a CPA letter, but we have to establish when your business started. Typically it's 2 years. So we have to show that exists. If we look at your personal statements versus business, typically they'll take 100% of the deposits. They're going to want to source them. They're going to say, okay, where are these coming from? But they'll look at all the deposits that come in, and that becomes your monthly income. So they'll take it, add it up, and divide it by 12, or they'll take it all the way out to 24 months. And that's good because maybe you did better in the previous year or the next year, and you need to beef it up. Now some of them will take the better of the two, so you may not get that. It just really depends on the lender. But personal statements, they typically take 100%. Now business statements is a different story. First thing they need to look at is your ownership of the business. Do you own 100% of it, 50% of it, a third of it? So you're going to be automatic haircut depending on your ownership. Let's assume for our case that we're talking about you own 100%. Okay, that's great. What type of business do you have? Are you a consultant where you charge for your services and there's no basically overhead or very minimal overhead? They'll give you up to 100% on that if we can show that. Conversely, if you have a business where you're buying and selling something, or you have employees, you're going to take about a 50% haircut on that, so on what they qualify you for. So
I need a haircut.
Telling you. Well, I could show you another way, Craig.
Sometime in 2024, I'll get mine cut. So
this is liberating. You guys don't understand. This is liberating. Do you know what it's like not to pay for a haircut and not have to worry about it?
I do.
I don't.
Scott does the other way. Scott does the other way. Because we go two ways with it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I used to go Scott's way a while ago, but man, one hot summer, I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Cue the Mohawk discussion.
It does get hot.
Okay. You've heard us talk about the all-in-one loan before. I'm going to have Scott give a refresher on what that is. And then, again, flexing our technology, we're going to share my screen, and we're going to actually do a scenario and show what that actually looks like if we play it out. So, Scott, give us a refresher on what the all-in-one loan is.
And Craig, this is coming up because we have a client that we're working on right now. And what made it really interesting for us is they've got a relatively low interest rate on their existing first loan, and they want a new second, a relatively large second that they're putting on the house. But rates have went up since they got their first loan. And but they're sitting on a significant chunk of money in their checking and savings account that really they're not doing anything with. It's kind of their reserve fund. So we ran this scenario out to see, what would be the best use of their money and what's the best possible loan program to put them into. And all-in-one really stood head and shoulders above the rest. So what all-in-one does is it takes your savings and checking account and your mortgage, combines it all into one account. And let's say that you're somebody that that keeps $100,000 in reserve funds between your savings and checking. Well, you can keep that same reserve set aside, but what you can do is apply it against your principal balance every night. So every night your principal is reduced by 100 grand and you pay less interest as a result, which means you pay off your loan considerably faster than what you otherwise would have. Wow. At any time, you can get access to that 100 grand just simply by writing a check. But if you're not using it, it goes against that principal balance. And the other thing we really like about it is that whatever your total credit amount is, you pay it down over time. But anytime before the 10th year, if you want to call upon it again, you find a great property, Craig, you find them a great rental property to get into, they simply write a check. They can pull that available credit out of that loan and they don't have to pay any money for another loan. So Ted, are you going to throw in some numbers on one so we can give everybody an example? You want to throw in like
yeah, so I got a screen share up. I already started. So what I did is an estimated home value of $900,000, a loan balance of $575, a 30-year fixed loan at a fixed interest rate of 5.25, and they've had this for 6 months. So extra monthly payments, I'm going to say 0 because most people don't pay down extra monthly payments. And I'm going to hit next. Now
we see a fixed screen on our side, just so you know. We're just seeing calculate your potential savings. We're not seeing anything else you're putting in.
Why is that the case? Let me, you know what? I know what it is. I shared the wrong screen. So there's 2 buttons. Thank you for telling me that. Let me fix that real quick.
Good call.
And here we go.
By the way, I love the recap because I'm doing a special segment in, all over the place, Facebook, YouTube, and Google. But, having non-traditional financing is a focus that I'm working on right now. So it's good. Thanks for the recap.
You're going to really like the results of this. Okay, so to start over, $900,000 home value, loan balance 575, 30-year fixed 5.25, 6 months into the loan, and their payment principal and interest is $3197.42. Extra monthly payment, we put 0, and now we're going to go to the next loan, or actually deposit. So let's come up with what their deposit is on a monthly basis. We could use somebody like Craig, who sells a tremendous amount of real estate, has high volume deposits on a monthly basis. I don't know, $45,000 a month coming in the account.
I wish.
Well, you know what? For this size home, maybe we bring it down a little bit. Maybe we say 20 grand a month. Why don't you say 20 grand a month?
Yeah, I mean, it could be combined family income, right? That sounds normal. That's monthly. And then one-time deposit. How much do they have in their savings account that we can park in this loan?
And why don't we say 80 grand? 80 grand one-time deposit. That's their reserve fund they set aside. Put it in month 2 right off the bat, which is what we usually recommend to everybody.
Okay, and it's there, and then we're gonna hit next. So percent left over of their monthly income.
Let's say 5%. 5%.
So they have 1,000 left over. And here we go.
Let's see what we do.
So you save 4 years. Save 4 years on your payoff, so you pay it off faster. But probably most important, you have more liquidity.
Yeah. So this is probably one of the least extreme kind of examples in terms of how to do it, because we didn't put because one of the things that people don't realize is if you're in this loan program, as an example, let's say you put all of your expenses on a credit card. If you wait till the last possible day to pay off that credit card, you're able to use what's sitting on your credit card to go against your principal balance until the day you pay down that credit card. And doing a combination of things like that reduces the term of your loan so significantly. I mean, in this example, what was the total savings? About $200,000, I believe.
Oh, yeah, let's see here. Total expense 1,329 versus
$198,000. So I mean, that's significant over the term, and they're not doing anything any different. And you've got that credit line available to you for 10 years. So it's a pretty slick product.
So I like that idea. Now, who's a financial piece guy? Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey would not like that idea because you're using a credit card. But I love the idea of leveraging credit. But the point is, pay that thing off at the end of the month because
Oh yeah.
credit card interest is much higher.
Well, no. Scott's not saying use it as a credit card. He's saying until you pay your credit card balance, don't pay it off earlier. Keep that money parked in there the last second so you're not getting interest. Right. So if you are using your card, don't pay it. But he's not saying take your credit card and max it out or anything like that.
No.
Right.
Put all your expenses on a credit card and then delay the payment by 30 days. Right. That gives you a 30-day window. But
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, never accrue the interest.
So to your point, so I see your point there, Craig. That makes sense.
And I've got friends that do a similar thing without this loan, but you float everything on the card, and this is not for everybody. Not everybody has the discipline to do that. I don't. But if you float things on your card, a card that gives you either cash or air miles or something like that, float it on the card. Put everything off until the very last day, so you're not going to pay any interest on the card, and you're allowing the interest to pay down, or allowing the loan to pay itself down because you're keeping that money in your bank account, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Here's an interesting scenario. So I increased the income to 30, but I only left over $1,500 a month. But look what it did to the loan. It dropped it down to 18 years.
Wow. And you left the reserves the same, the 80,000?
Yeah. So we can play with it. So your deposits, so you have your 30,000. So let's change it. Let's go back to 20.
So
let's decrease this to 120.
One way to pay it off faster is to make 10,000 more a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but the thing is, you're only actually leaving an extra 500 in there to pay it down, because that's just using that money to be parked in there. So having that, but you're not actually paying down that extra 10,000. It's only 500 more going to it. So like right there, monthly left over. If I go back to the 30, let me back up. Hold on.
And Ted and Craig, I think one of the important aspects in this comparison, Ted is putting in a much lower rate on the conventional loan than on this loan, where if you're getting a new house and you're going in, this loan is probably a point higher than what you get on a typical fixed loan. But the scenario that you just ran, Ted, I think you've got a 3-point differential in terms of interest rate. You went 5 on the traditional mortgage, I think an 8 on the all-in-one. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, if we went today's rates, I did 5.25. So if we did today's rates, you're looking at 6.75.
Yeah. So,
and then this one is it's already going to be built in. I can show you the calculations, but let's go back to the 20,000. Hold on. We just changed the rate, go to 20,000. And then I changed the deposit to 120. And 5% left over, so you still have 1,000. Calculate results. Man, look at that.
Wow.
Now you're at half.
Even with the higher interest rate.
Well, look at the saved.
Yeah. And so Craig, a lot of times what we'll do, we'll get in here and we'll play around with this model with the client so we can put in their assumptions. We can see what it looks like, but I've yet to see one where they end up upside down. It's a pretty great loan. But again,
look at your average minimum monthly payment. You gives you flexibility. You almost cut in half. If you stop, Craig, you don't sell any homes. Maybe those 200, you don't get one of them, and you can't make a payment. Well, your minimum payment's half of what it'd be almost.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of flexibility with that one.
Yep. So thought we'd share that. That'd be kind of fun to look at.
I love it. That's great.
All right. So Craig, tell us about a cool place to go visit when we come to Corona, California.
I was thinking about this the other day. There's some new things that have popped up. You know what? Gosh, I wish I could remember this place.
80s
so
Club?
We don't have a ton of culture in Corona. I mentioned that on a previous live cast. But we do have a great Thai restaurant called, Oh my gosh, Lotus Thai. There's also another one, Seven Seas. Both of those restaurants are excellent if you like Thai food. And I've heard from somebody who lived in Thailand for several years doing some missions work over there in a very dark, dark field. But anyway, that aside, she lived there. She loves Thai food. She got very immersed in the culture. And she said these are the closest to actually being in Thailand. So Lotus Thai and Seven Seas Thai food.
Wow. Scott, where are we going?
Well, let's see. How about we go to a great beach to watch great surfing with a really, really, really nice long surf, and a beach that has a terrible name. So this beach is called Rat Beach. It's in Palos Verdes. You can either look at the beach from up above on top of this perch, and you can watch all the people surfing down below, or you can hike down on this nice little trail. It's a little bit steep. Got to wear some good shoes, but you hike down that trail and you're in this beautiful cove. You've always got, if the surf is at all decent, the waves there are really, really nice. And it's a great way to just watch some surfers, go have a picnic on the beach, and just kind of chill out and watch a great sunset. It's beautiful.
You have the most relaxed lifestyle of there, Scott. I'm telling you. I'm relaxed just hearing about doing this stuff.
Well, 15 minutes, I'm going to be there. I'll send you pictures.
Love it. So
wait, Ted.
Yes.
Before
I'm waiting.
What?
Yes.
I know there's Tin Can. Is it Tin Can Beach in Seal Beach down there?
Yeah.
Why is this? We know why it's Tin Can. We know why Seal Beach is Seal Beach. Why is this Rat Cove?
Because apparently there used to be a lot of. There aren't now. You don't have to worry about it now. Actually, people also go down there for they go lobster fishing during lobster season.
Ooh.
They get a lot of lobster out of this cove. So
is it legal?
Yeah, I mean, it's only like a 2-week window, but they'll go down, they'll dive for lobster, and I've seen some nice lobster come out of there. So
wow,
it's interesting because Boca Raton, the mouth of the Rat, right? It's an opening to an inlet in Florida. And interesting fact about Boca Raton, it was a different spot on the map before they didn't have it right. So actually, Boca Raton originally was closer to like Fort Lauderdale, and then somehow they got it confused and moved up to where it is now known as Boca Raton.
Oh wow, that's crazy!
Yeah.
But so for me, I actually have plans. I couldn't get reservations because of spring break, but 45-minute drive from here is a place called Lee Canyon, and it's right by Mount Charleston. It's covered in snow. We're going to go have a weekend in the snow, 45 minutes from the Strip in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And over there's wild horses, wild donkeys, and they come up to your car as you're pulling in so you can feed them and pet them. I will ride them because I can tame them. I mean, that's what I do. No problem. Bareback, of course. Right through the snow. I'll wear a cowboy hat. I'll wave it in the air. It'll be amazing. So you'll appreciate that. Okay. Without further ado, who is the one that played an instrument and football at the same time?
That'd be me.
How in the world?
Yeah. So I started playing trumpet because my dad played trumpet and I was a big kid. So they needed somebody that could carry a tuba. So I got recruited to play tuba in the marching band. And so my freshman and sophomore year, I was in marching band and played on the football team. But then my band instructor said, you have a choice. You can either continue to be in band or you can continue to be in football, but you can't do both. And you might be shocked by what I picked. Football. Because you know what? I like to go out on dates in high school, and it was a lot easier to get a date as a football player than it was as a tuba player in the band. So that wasn't very cool.
Was it your coach that gave you that ultimatum, basically?
It was the band. It was the guy in the because I was on the freshman and sophomore football team, so I could be in the halftime for marching band because it was for the seniors, right? But when I got to be a junior, I couldn't play on the team and then take off at halftime and go be in the band, right? So I had to make my choice.
But I have to ask this because I know the audience is going to be messaging me. Do you have the tuba still?
I play it every night. Every night.
I need it. We're gonna every show now. You're gonna play us out. You're gonna play out. You're gonna make a theme song for us.
There's a German bar down the street, and I'm called the Oompa Man, and that's what I do.
I prefer like maybe Rockford Files or something like that kind of song coming out. Craig, what were you known as?
Well, I was the town drunk.
Shocker.
It was actually the village drunk.
Village drunk.
I played Reb Nachum in Fiddler on the Roof for a local, live theater here. And so I was the town drunk or the village drunk. My wife was the matchmaker.
All
right. Cool.
What was the name for an actor? Is it Thebius? I'm saying this wrong. Help me out here.
I don't know what you're going for.
Thebius?
Oh, thespian.
Thespian, yeah, you're quite the thespian. Yeah, it was at the tip of my tongue. I couldn't figure it out.
Oh yeah,
you're quite the thespian.
Okay. I have a certificate somewhere. I'm in the official club of thespians.
That's it. I love it too.
You want to talk about not getting dates in high school? but I had a saying. All the jocks, were against all the the drama. You can't use that word anymore, but the thespians. And,
yes.
I'd say, hey, look, I'd rather be dressing in a co-ed dressing room with girls and, they're developing.
Smart man. Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Than chasing some guy around, who's chasing a football or running with football and then going into an all men's shower. It just, yeah.
Ray, you're a smart guy. Okay. So obviously I'm the one that studied Taekwondo. It's a Korean form of martial arts. It combines 7 different forms. And most notably, I would practice at home. And I could break boards. And I'd break the boards, and sometimes it was loud. And my mom would get mad, and she would yell, "Theodore!" With that being said, we're the real estate mortgage inside. What? You're messing in my eye. Oh my! You're stepping on my joke. Go.
I got to ask you this question though. I got to ask. All right. So one of my favorite scenes.
Hold on. I have something too after you, Scott.
Okay. All right.
So I can't remember the name of the movie. The guy's coming up. He's doing all this crazy Taekwondo stuff, and Harrison Ford. So
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. So Ted, you got this guy. He's coming at you.
Yeah.
And I know you're a man that has handguns and knows how to shoot. So are you going to, or are you gonna?
Okay. Is he coming at me with a weapon?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no question about it.
All right. Good.
No question about it. Yeah, I'm handling business. I'm pulling out my personal carry, and the guy is done. That's all right. Because yeah. Well, seriously, coming at me with a weapon. People don't realize. I mean, we're going to get into this here, but especially if they have a knife, how fast somebody can close distance and how dangerous it is. It's really scary.
18 to 20 feet in seconds, right?
Yeah. Well, me half a second, but yes. Craig, what was your question before we?
I was going to mention, Ted, near you, I know of. It's not my listing, but I know of a listing that's about to hit the market. Beautiful view of the Strip. It's on Las Vegas Boulevard.
Okay.
Beautiful view of the Strip, and we need to run a scenario to see what the what's that program? The Rentalator? No, it's
we try to see what the return on the investment would be.
Exactly. It would probably be a fantastic Airbnb. By the way, I know of 2 units coming up in La Jolla, California, that might also be good Airbnbs, but we'll start with Vegas.
The problem with that is this: Clark County doesn't allow you to do Airbnbs unless you get a permit, and it's very difficult to get. So a lot of people do them under the table, and I know that's common in other areas, but it's not a business plan that I would endorse.
Well, I know somebody that worked with with the legislature there. So I'm going to have to check with him and see what they worked out or what he found out in working with him.
Yeah.
So,
But shoot us the address and let's do a presentation on it next week.
yeah. I'll get you guys offline.
All right. For Craig Yace, for Scott Benson, I'm Theodore. Have a great week, everybody.